Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we're talking about some elements you do not want to miss if you are looking for great interior design in your home. And the first thing we have to talk about, an element that so many homes are missing when I see them, is actually the use of soft furnishings to tie in your color scheme. And basically what that means is get your throw pillows together, get a rug that matches, where's the throw blanket? All of these things you think are just extras. You think they're just accessories, they're just there to make the space comfortable and warm and cozy. They're there to tie in your color scheme. They exist in this space to make sure your color scheme makes sense, to get a reference point to it, to add more of that into your space. Yes, you can use soft furnishings like throw pillows to define your style. If it's more traditional, if it's more modern, the pattern on that pillow is going to make that reference, is going to make that statement and adds personality, but it is also in that space to tie in the color scheme, so do not forget about these things. Yes, they are comfy. Yes, they make your home cozy, but they have more meaning than just that one thing. Now, they need to serve both purposes. And there is no excuse for them not doing that, but remember, what your pillow says a lot about you and your space. So let's make sure our soft furnishings, like I said, pillows, throw blankets, the area rug in the space, an ottoman or a poof, makes sense and makes a reference, ties in a color scheme together in some way. These are elements that should not be forgotten in a space because they make the difference. And an argument can be made that artwork also ties in your color scheme together, and so do other accessories. Yes, that's true. But oftentimes people think cozy means it doesn't count, and that's just not true. A key element you should not miss out on in your home that is holding your design back is layered lighting. Lighting changes the entire space and the way it looks and feels and the way you interact in it, and not having layered lighting is not helping you out. Layered lighting is essentially multiple forms of lighting in your space. Yes, you have overhead lighting, you may have recessed lighting, you may have a lamp. Do you have a floor lamp? Do you have a task lamp? Do you have a spotlight? Do you have art light? These are all different forms of lighting that create a layered look and feel in the space and really enhance and accentuate it. They make it feel comfortable and welcoming and warm, and you should be using warm tone lighting. There's no excuse at this point for you to have cool blue toned lights because they belong in a hospital, not a home. And I love that for you. The only exception is if someone has a vision issue or a medical need to have cool toned lighting, at which point that's acceptable, but otherwise, don't be caught slipping. Now, layered lighting is something that you can use. It actually can become a ritual of turning things on. I have them set on timers in my home because I can't be committed to it, and you can shop those timers in my Amazon storefront linked in the description box down below. But having layered lighting in your home enhances the space and the atmosphere of it, and it creates a moodier feel. Now, what it will do is tint the colors in your space. A warm tone light has yellow base to it, and so everything is going to feel warmer or have a slightly yellow hue to it. You may feel the need to accommodate your space and shift some of the colors in it to make this work. I don't personally think you need to. I enjoy a warmer space, and exceptions can be made for layered lighting, which is a lot better than your space just maybe looking a little bit yellow. Like, whatever, that's fine. It feels warm. That is what warmth is. So add layered lighting into your home. Even if you have those cool toned overhead lights, add some warmer toned lights in the lamps and art light to really enhance the mood and the atmosphere of this space and create that warm glow and feel. It's also important that we don't have exposed light bulbs because they're a little too harsh. They give off too much light, and it always gives a migraine looking at a bulb, so don't be that person. Get some shades and get some shade filters to put over those exposed light bulbs to elevate the look and feel and create that soft glow your space will thank you for. Speaking of something your space will thank you for is getting your design questions answered, or even just getting a space review from a designer like me. You could always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me by using the link in the description box down below, or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic, where you can show me your space in a private one-on-one phone call or virtual call, and I can look around, you can ask me your questions, and I can give you my answers. People often forget about the element of negative space in their homes. Negative space is all about letting it breathe, not covering every inch of everything. Even if you're a maximalist, you need to have negative space and you need to use it efficiently. Negative space can mean more than just having nothing though, or having an empty space. It can also mean having a large grounding element in a neutral color that provides a base where our eye can go to and rest and not be overwhelmed by all of the details in the space. And this is something people often miss out on in their home because they think there's an empty space there. What am I going to get to go in that area there? And then they get more and more and more, or they think the answer to their design problems is getting another vase or another little collectible or a small thing or a piece here or there, and that's not always the case. If you're a person that loves a busy space with lots of patterns and colors and details, I'm all about it and I love that for you. What's our grounding element? Make it the trim color, make it the floor color, make it the rug, make it the use of color throughout the space and a repetition of a color that's consistent throughout in every area. That can be a really good way to create that negative space and allow our eye to rest and see what is going on, because if your space is overwhelming, it will feel cluttered, it will feel busy, and it will feel like way too much. And you don't want to be that person. So pull back a little bit or think outside of it and say, what am I going to bring into this space that is something big, that is heavy feeling, that has weight to it visually? And it doesn't mean it's going to be dark. Maybe it's a big white sofa in the space. Although for usage sake, that's maybe not my #1 recommendation, but as an example, it works. That is going to provide a reference point to the background color and all of the patterns you have in the space and give you a grounding feel to that space. Look for what that negative moment is going to be. What is going to allow the eye to rest? Maybe you're using symmetry. Maybe you do have some empty space in that area so that all of the bold colors and everything else you have going on isn't overwhelming. Maybe it's the use of a neutral. All of these things can give you the negative space you need in an area in your home so that it doesn't feel overwhelming, so we can actually see all of the beautiful things you have going on. An often overlooked element in a home that you should not forget about is actually storage pieces of furniture. You need storage. You need closed storage where everything is hidden away. Very few homes have enough storage and closet spaces and cabinetry to accommodate all of your things, especially if you're living in a smaller space. So look for pieces of furniture that offer storage in every form. I don't care what piece it is. If it's a sofa, there's no excuse. There are sofas that offer storage. If you have a coffee table or an ottoman, get one with some storage in it. You need more storage than you think. I would rather have a piece of storage furniture that is empty than not have the space available to me if I need it. And that is something your home will thank you for, because the #1 thing you need to get rid of in your home, the element you don't need, is clutter. So by increasing the storage, we reduce the clutter and your home is easier to be in, more relaxing, and feels more inviting, is easier to take care of when you don't have to clean around a bunch of clutter that makes your house look a mess. You can take care of it much easier and more efficiently, and your home feels more relaxing, and that is what your space should be. It's a sanctuary, so you may as well make it look like one by adding additional storage into the space. Something else you should add to your home is some great design advice which you find here on the channel, and I'd like to invite you to hit the subscribe button or pull out your phone, open up your camera, and scan this QR code right here that will take you directly to my channel page and allow you to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. You should consider turning on your bell notification. I'd also greatly appreciate if everyone watching right now could give this video a like and give it a little bit of hype. That engagement helps it get shared across the platform and we can fix one ugly home at a time. And I love that for us. Look who's come to visit, who came to say hello. Hi. Hi, Arden. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the people? To the fans and the family and the friends? No, he doesn't have anything to say. Oh, that's cute. You're just gonna sit there and be like the mascot, the little look. You have static all in your hair, Arden. Got static all over the place. Got static all over you. Look at this, so cute, so sweet. Doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't understand the concept of the camera is there, but because he's so beautiful, takes after me, he's always camera ready, and I love that for him. Oh. Is it time for you to go back to your nap? Is that what you want? Is that what you're after? You're so cute. Okay, I'll let you go back to your nap, and we'll get back to the video. A key element you do not want to forget about in your house is mixing materials. And that doesn't just mean mixing metals or mixing fabrics. It means all of it all together. Don't be afraid to change things up in your home, and don't use the same material in every single space and every opportunity you can. For example, I love velvet. I think it's great. It's a beautiful material, a cotton velvet. Nothing makes me happier than that. But I do have to restrain myself from using it everywhere because it gets repetitive to use it over and over again. You have to mix things up a little bit. So in some spaces I'll have leather, I have a little bit of boucle from when that was a trend. I like it, okay? In small doses it can be great. In other areas I may use a mohair or a linen to really break up that fabric. I may also do the same thing with metal and hardware in my home. I love brass, but I also love antique silver. I love black hardware. As a designer, I see the value in all of it, right? So I want to have a little bit here and there, and I may use that in accessories and accents and details, but I do like to have a little bit of consistency. So light fixtures, door hardware is all going to be brass in my home, but then lamps and little accents of metal in other places will be something different, and I think that is really great. You do not want to be too repetitive in the material you use, even if it's a paint color. Don't paint every single room the same thing. Have fun in some of those offset areas. In one bedroom, maybe you paint an interesting color. In an office space, you do the same. Maybe your dining room is a little bit different and you have some fun with it. Don't do that every single place. You don't have to get one window treatment and do that everywhere in your home. In the same room, yeah, be consistent, do it all the same, but as you move from room to room, each enclosed space can be its own thing. It should have a reference point, but that doesn't mean everything has to be matching perfectly or the same thing done over and over again. So many people focus on just having perfect, gorgeous, elevated design in their home that they forget to bring personality into it, and that's a key element you do not want to forget in your home. And personality means anything you like, you can bring into your home. Don't think that because some designer somewhere said you can't have family photos, they're not great. Okay, well, if your family's not great, that's a personal problem you need to take up with your therapist. But I personally like to have photos that remind me of joyous moments in my life. That's a really great way to make your home feel personal. Artwork can be another one. Artwork doesn't have to be tied into your color scheme perfectly. It can be an accent. It can be something that stands out. Maybe if you want a generic piece to tie in a color scheme, okay, but don't be afraid to bring in something inventive and unique and just really personal into your space that doesn't go with anything, that doesn't make a reference to anything. That's when your home stands out and that's when it feels like you. I also am a collector of things. I love beautiful things and I collect specific things. I will display them around my home as artwork, as items I can use, as vases, as whatever I want because I like those things. They make me happy. I don't care if no one else likes them because they don't live here. Right? It's just the people that live in this house that opinions matter about what the house looks like. You need to have your home be the same thing. Make it personal, make it interesting, make it something that reflects who you are and your character. Don't be so focused on your home looking like perfect magazine level design. That's all staged. It's not even that real. Stagers come in and remove the personality from the space so it can be photographed for a magazine, and then everything comes back in and it feels like a home again. Don't be so caught up in having perfect design that you forget about the people that actually live there. And do not allow a design commentator to push their design narrative on you in your home and tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. Do what makes you feel happy in your space. Just make sure you do it in a way that feels intentional and truly reflects your personality. Now that we talked about some elements your home should not miss out on, let's talk about some finishes maybe I don't recommend using in your home. Be sure you check out that video right over here and I will see you over there. Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in this video, we're talking about some design features that people will say are dated, but that I love, and some that people say are dated and honestly I think is true, and maybe it's time to think about letting them go and doing something different with from every category you can think of. And these are just some of the things that when I look at homes that I love to see and that I actually think pose the opportunity for some improvement. Let's just say that. Now, the first thing that I look for in a home that I love to see, and it makes me happy when I see it because it says to me that it's good quality, it's a really good foundation for us to build off of design-wise, are actually travertine floors. Travertine is a natural stone and it's not for everybody. And it's not maybe the biggest trend right now, but it poses the opportunity for us to work within a neutral color scheme really, really efficiently, right? There's a lot of good tones in that stone we can pull from for the rest of the space. It looks good with just about every color, every neutral you can think of, outside of maybe some of the cooler tones that honestly most people are not into right now anyway, but it's something that people look at and they're like, oh yeah, it's bad, it has to go, or I'm just not into that. Like, it's not the biggest trend right now, but it's a natural material. It's a really good quality material for flooring, especially, that I really like. So if I see a house that has travertine floors or travertine bathrooms, I'm like excited about it. Like, I can work with this, and keeping that now saves us a lot of money in the budget to do some bigger things elsewhere. So travertine floors are something that I always love to see, if possible, if a house has them. And the really good thing about travertine is that it's a great quality material that we can then expand on, and it saves us that budget to use elsewhere. Love it. Now, something I don't like to see so much in a home that I think is at this point dated, and I don't want to see, is a drop-in or overmount sink. And this can be for kitchens and bathrooms. I really just don't love the extra lip on a countertop. And so a drop-in or overmount sink is exactly what it sounds like. A hole is cut in the countertop and the sink is put in place. And this is very typical, and you have to do this with certain countertop materials like a butcher block or a laminate. And in those instances, it's fine. You don't have an option to do something else. So you get the lowest flush profile you can and work with it. But if you have a natural stone or even a manufactured stone countertop, why would you do a drop-in sink? You know what I mean? Like why would you not undermount the sink? It's just cleaner. You can wipe directly from the countertop into the sink. And it doesn't have like a groove and a lip on the top where things get into, and dirt, debris. You don't have to caulk that in. You don't have to scrub it with a toothbrush to get into that gap. I just think it's so much cleaner. Looking and actually living with it is definitely something worth thinking about. So if I see a house that has like those great travertine floors, I'm excited about it, because now we can do something great with the countertops and then do an undermount sink to really update it and have a luxury feel. So I'm looking for positives and negatives in homes so I can make some changes and do some impactful design and replace some things. Like the edge detail on a countertop sometimes really dates and ages a home. And so being able to replace that and do something great like do an undermount sink modernizes a space without making it into a different style than it is, or we can actually do that and really advance the design in those spaces, be it kitchens or bathrooms. Also in a bathroom, having a drop-in sink, you lose countertop space. You lose countertop space. And so where are you putting the hairdryer and the tools and the things? No, I don't like it. I want a very clean looking countertop that is sleek, that is refined, that is minimal in detail, so I don't have to fight with taking care of it. The less detail something has, the easier it is to take care of. And that's not to say you shouldn't have any detail on anything and everything should be minimalistic design and sleek and everything like that, but you have to place those in areas where it makes the most sense. And for me, a sink does not make the most sense to have the detail like a drop-in feature. And this can be decorative. It can be very expensive. I don't think it's worth it. Go for an undermount sink if you can. Now, there are a million details in your home when you're doing a renovation, you're updating, you're decorating, you're designing, be it, things like the style of sink or hardware on cabinetry or the window treatments you're using or just the color of a sofa, a rug, and throw pillows. And you may need a little help with that, and I've got you covered. You can always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me where you show me around your home and I answer all of your design and decorating questions. You can book that call using the link in the description box down below or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Another design detail I love to see in a home that brings me so much joy and is like so inspirational to me is a more traditional style banister. I don't like a modern railing system on a staircase. It just doesn't do for me what I need done. And so if I'm seeing a house and it has like a beautiful carved wood railing on it, I'm happy, I'm excited. And that doesn't mean your style has to be traditional or the house has to feel that way. You can update the colors on it and make it something really different than what it is. For example, you could paint an entire staircase black, all of the railings, the top railing, the spindles, even do treads and everything in all black and risers in all black, and it would look very, very, very modern in a traditional home. And that's something I think is really great because you get the details of traditional design, but the color scheme and the influence of modern design, right? So that's a detail I'm looking for. It's also something that we don't do today because it's expensive and because it's difficult. It requires actual ability and talent, and people just that's few and far between nowadays. We can manipulate the color scheme. Like I said, paint the railing all black, paint it all white, do it in black and white, and make it feel different than what it is. But I personally appreciate a stained wood railing just because, once again, staining wood is a lot more difficult than painting it is. So it's a layered detail there. That's something I look for because it's a design detail that new home builders are just not doing, or it's very, very custom to do. Something with a traditional detail like a beautiful wood railing is something I see and I get very excited about because the potential is endless. Now, something I don't particularly like to see, well, that's not true. I love to see it when I'm looking to purchase a home because it immediately dates a space and nobody wants it, and so you know there's a deal to be made, but it holds a space back and it just makes it look super old, are heavy, swaggy drapes. Drapery used to be like the big thing, and I'm all about a custom drapery moment, okay? I love that. But when you have a big heavy valance and swags and extra fabric and it's dark, it used to be something we did and we really liked because it, you know, it was a beautiful, luxurious, high-end detail to have, right? It was sumptuous and decadent. But today, I want light, I want brightness. I'm fine with a simple and clean pinch pleat that gives me a lot of vertical lines. I don't need a lot of horizontal stuff going on because that lowers your ceiling height. Having really heavy drapes like that makes your home feel heavy, makes it feel full, okay? It also just makes it look dated because we have moved so far forward in what is happening in the drapery space right now that having really heavy drapery like this with a lot of busy details is not doing you the favor you think it is. Unless your style is Tuscan or you like that like 80s deco vibe, all right, it could work in those spaces, but they're almost like a theme. And so if you have a home or you see a home with really bad drapery and it's like really heavy and overdone, that's a great house that has tremendous potential. And I see that in homes all of the time when someone says, we bought a house and all of the original window treatments that has to go, I'm like, take them all down, like just have blinds. Having big heavy drapery, it feels dated, it drags your space down, it makes it darker, and that's a place you could easily swap it out for something much more updated. A design detail that I love to see in a home that so many people don't do anymore, whether it's dated or not is a question, but it is expensive. So if I see a home with it, I like it. But a lot of people aren't doing it right now, and that's crown molding. I live for crown molding. I love crown molding, and that's because I'm a big fan of a ceiling detail, okay? I love it. I don't care what it is. Give me a ceiling detail. Crown molding, we just don't see a lot of it today. And a big part of that is because people want modern, these sort of like boxy style spaces, and that's really good, but I love a traditional architectural feature in a modern styled space because it just feels so much more genuine and so much more curated to me. So when I see a home that has great crown molding, I know that's expensive. It costs a lot of money to do good crown molding in a space. So having it in there, like I'm seeing the things and the vision is coming to me. Gives us a lot of opportunities to change colors on your walls and on your ceiling and even the trim. We could paint that, like if you're doing something heavy in a kid's room. We can do really fun trim colors in those spaces and more neutralized ceiling and wall colors that really has fun energy and character to it. That's so interesting to me, and to have crown molding that we can paint that same color really expands on the design and the colors, and it makes working with color so much easier. Crown molding is a great detail that so many people overlook. I wish it was more popular in modern design, even though it isn't. It is what it is. Okay, I will live with it and I will advise my clients and their homes will be beautiful, but I guess that is beside the point. Another design detail that does not make me happy, I don't like to see, okay? I'm nice about it, but I doesn't bring me a ton of joy is a mirrored closet door, like a sliding mirrored door. It feels dated. It feels dated, it feels tired, it feels heavy to me. The thing about it is that it feels cheap because it looks dated, even though it's expensive. But it's just not something I enjoy. Now, if you have a really small space, like the bedrooms are just compact in the house and we don't have a lot of hanging space or there's a lot of windows, there's advantages to having a mirrored closet door. I respect that. Like, to have a full-length mirror is not something that is everywhere or everyone has in their home, so I appreciate that. But there is a lot of space there for improvement. Okay, we could do something different. I'm not really a big fan of a sliding door. I like to open a door and see everything. So if I can do that, even if it's like a bifold closet door, I'm probably going to prefer that over a mirrored sliding door, just in general, or a sliding door in general, if I'm being honest. But a mirrored door can be a little bit daunting and it can make your home feel more dated. Having a mirror in a small space can work to your advantage, but it's not always the case. And a lot of times those mirrored closet doors, they have dark trim or gold trim on them that really make them feel even more dated. So I think that's a really good opportunity to refresh and brighten a space by eliminating those and doing something different. Now, you know, sometimes I'm gonna give you a little tip information that's niche, that's, you know, a little bit maybe not what you're expecting, because I see everything. I see everything, I notice everything when I'm looking at houses, when I'm looking at homes for my clients, just scrolling online, I see it all and I remember these details and I share them with you, which reminds me, if you have made it to this point in the video and you have not subscribed already, this is the perfect opportunity. Take out your phone, open your camera, and scan this QR code right here. It will take you directly to my channel where you can hit that subscribe button. So much easier, but you could also tap the red button on your computer screen right now and make it gray, and I love that for you, by joining us, becoming a part of our GarrettLeChic family. Be sure you also turn your bell notification on to get notified every time I upload a video. I'd also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like and give it some hype to get it shared across the platform so we can maybe improve some of these homes that desperately need help. Okay, a design detail that I love to see in a house, that brings me joy, that makes me excited, that inspires me. I love a wall sconce. It just makes me so happy. And I like wall sconces pretty much everywhere because we can use sconces to our advantage. We can flank artwork with them. You can also, you know, have an electrician out and move the boxes and move them above artwork and do art lighting with sconces. I love that. In a bathroom, sconces are perfect to have at sort of your head level because the lighting is really great when you're getting ready in the mornings or getting unready in the evenings. You can see everything and it just makes you look better, but it also makes the space look more efficient, like it just is better usage for a bathroom. I love that. That's really what is happening with design right now and what designers are doing in bathrooms. If you want your bathroom to look expensive and luxurious and high-end, you do sconces. I love layered lighting in a home. So when I see sconces, it makes me happy, and you should absolutely be thinking about this, checking into it. If you're new building, add them in literally everywhere you can. I love a sconce. And if you see them in a home, just know there's tremendous potential there. Now, something I see a lot of that I don't always appreciate, but is sometimes something you have to work with and is actually coming back on trend in a little bit of a different way, but we'll talk about that, is glass block. Glass block used to be like just a privacy thing. And, you know, being in Las Vegas, I see that here a lot because a lot of the homes here were built in the early 2000s. And we also live very closely together, right? Like not all homes have big, massive width-wise, okay, lots, right? Homes tend to be near each other. So having glass block means you get a lot of privacy, but you still get some light in. I'm not the biggest fan of it because it feels very like 80s and 90s to me. And if you're doing an updated space, like sometimes you just don't want that. And it has that feeling and that vibe. And so a lot of people will do walls in it. And I actually think it's really great for like an 80s Art Deco style vibe where you have like a curved wall detail. That can be really interesting. And like a mid-century style shower, curved glass block detail, really interesting. Even a shower enclosure, a lot of people will do that in. So you don't have to spend the money on getting like plate glass and it is enclosed but still open. Like it's kind of a niche thing that could be done. I don't love to see glass block in every instance. Sometimes I think it's amazing and it's great and I love it. Other times it makes me sick to my stomach, and I hate it because I know it's expensive to get rid of that and most people don't like it. Something else that I love to see and I look for that really inspires me and I think is just so much more efficient, like furniture and placement and layout wise, is actually a more traditional layout in a home. I like that. I like it because you can fit so much more furniture. You get so much more storage. There's so much more place for artwork in a home that has walls, that is not completely open concept. You can fit cabinetry and you can hang more artwork on those walls inside of it. So when I look at homes that are twice the size of mine, sometimes I'm kind of like, gosh, I don't know where I would put my furniture in that house. I'd have to get rid of a lot of stuff to fill this home up because like I have too much stuff in my house that's half the size of that. So it doesn't always equate to more square footage, meaning more space or more useful space, if the home does not have a good layout. If you're thinking of moving, look at each piece of furniture you have and figure out where in the new layout of that new house you're going to put it, and I bet you will find out that that open concept home won't fit all of the things you have in your older, more traditional closed or modified concept home because you just don't get the same amount of usable space in open concept that you do in something with more walls. Now, a lot of times what you find with an older home that I don't maybe love and I don't think always elevates everything is a drywall niche. We were going crazy with drywall there for a minute. Okay, everything was in drywall. It was like angled walls and curved walls and everything in drywall. And so a drywall niche became very popular in more traditional style homes because if you look at older homes, a lot of times they'll have a tight and narrow staircase that has a niche above it. That specific style of niche originated from a very interesting place. It's inspired by, townhouses and row houses in the New York area, specifically Brooklyn, and it's called a coffin corner. And they were designed because the staircases were so narrow that if someone died upstairs, they couldn't get a coffin downstairs. So it's a little bit dark. It's a right interesting meaning, but that's the beauty of historic design. And it's something I appreciate, but I can't help but see it every time I see a drywall niche anywhere. And the reality is these feel a little tired. They feel a little dated. They age a home very specifically because it was something we replicated in a lot of homes in the 90s and early 2000s. And so we're kind of moving past that now. The inspiration, I can't say I like it, but I appreciate it. And it comes from a specific place, but it's not something we need in every home. And it definitely dates and ages a home a little bit. So in a lot of houses I see, I'm kind of like, hey, that weird niche up there and over here and there, like if you're doing any sort of drywall work, now's the opportune moment to fill that in and get rid of it and modernize things a little bit because it's a fixed element and you have to do something with it, right? But the question is, what are you gonna do? And it might not be something that you like or feels current or relevant to you. Maybe it feels a little dated and you're ready to say goodbye to it. And I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me today because I had so much fun. And be sure you check out this video right here all about some of the hottest new trends about to explode this year. Be sure you don't miss out on it. And I will see you over there.